So now what happens with the teams that were also in the Blake Snell sweepstakes? Teams like, well, Red Sox, Yankees, Orioles, they were all in on Blake Snell before he ultimately made his decision. This from Mark Feinsand, quoting a source, expect those three teams to remain active on the pitching market with names like Burns, Fried, and Jack Flaherty among the top arms available. Now, speaking of the Red Sox, according to this report, they are increasingly seen as a legitimate contender for Juan Soto. The prevailing thought, or at least the widely held belief in all this speculation, was that it was the Mets and the Yankees. Those were the two finalists. But if you believe this report, the Boston Red Sox are making a very hard push for Juan Soto.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. The Red Sox should be in the biggest market for the biggest players, right?
Because they are.
100%. And when I look at where this team is at from an athletic standpoint and what they're able to do on the defensive side of the baseball, right? Like, they have the ability to do a lot of things. Jarren Duran is a great center fielder, very athletic. You look at guys like Wilyer Abreu, who has made a great impact on this team. Ceddanne Rafaela, I mean, he can play second, he can play short, he can play center field. You can move him all over the place. They have a lot of athleticism all over the field. And the reason I say this is because with Juan Soto comes a little bit of a detraction defensively, right? But obviously you get the offensive numbers. This is a very good offensive team to begin with.
Yeah.
You throw his bat in there, and you can cover him in the outfield, especially because playing left field at that ballpark, you don't got to do a lot of running. There's not a whole play the ball off the wall and get it in, and you're good, and then hit the ball over the wall.
Now these are first world problems, but are you okay with having three lefties at the top there in that projected lineup?
100%, because Juan Soto in that ballpark, look at lefties that have succeeded there. Guys like Big Papi, and I mean, Devers does it. There's a reason, and a guy who can go the other way, the way that he does.
Yeah.
With the amount of power he has, I feel like he would literally be playing pepper with the left field wall when he's at home.
Yeah.
It's such a huge advantage.
Let's take a look at a couple tweets here from Brendan Cuddy that he's talking about Juan Soto here. Offers for Soto are expected to go through multiple rounds, a league source telling The Athletic. The first round is expected to be preliminary, meant to gauge genuine interest from all parties. The following offers, which could start around next week, are, and he went on to tweet, expected to become increasingly more serious, weeding out candidates and seemingly point toward a winter meeting-ish decision timeframe. Now, the winter meetings are next week? December 9th through the 11th. So we're rapidly approaching that. The winter meetings, 9th through the 12th. The winter meetings in Dallas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And, of course, MLB Network will be on site with all the information.
With what you talked about right there with Soto and these contracts and the rounds that they're going through, we just saw what the Dodgers have done with some contracts. That's why the rounds are going to be necessary. It's here's a number. Then let's figure out how we can either A, increase that number, or B, be creative and increase that number and find ways to alleviate some of the stress it would put on a ball club. Those talks are going to take a while, and that's why I think we might find out who a couple of serious contenders are for Soto in the next few weeks, but I don't think we're going to know, unfortunately, for a little while.
Well, take Blake Snell aside. I think once Juan Soto has made his decision, then I think we're going to see a flurry of activity because all those teams that were in Soto now can go and revert to their back.
I would like to see some teams start to be a little bit aggressive in maybe whether it's finding a plan B, instead of Soto, or just trying to find the pieces that are going to, do the best job of exemplifying Soto or helping Soto. Let's build up around him too and not be afraid to do that early. I know teams want to get that big one out of the way.